Hey everybody, it is a Thursday. I did a show yesterday. So today though, we're having a lightning news flash because my good buddy Stuart Corden from BLITZ is here today. And as we've known before, he and I have stuff in common because we are both bass players. We are both frontmen for our bands and they're both three-piece. So here we are today. We are here to talk about what is going on and what's the latest with BLITZ, because you got a new single coming up, right?
We've got a new single from Kicking Up a Storm, our new album. It's called Crawling on Glass. On the album, it goes under the name of COG because we abbreviated it.
That's it.
I don't know why. We did just what we did. So we're going to have a video out on the 26th of June. The video is edited by Kev, our guitar player, who does he's a technical guy. You know, he's really great at all that stuff.
But the action, my sensei.
Yeah, he knows his stuff. He knows his way around a computer.
Cool.
And on the third,
do you know what program he uses to do it?
You'd have to speak to him.
Yeah, hook me up.
I am probably the most technical person known to man, really.
I would tell you to get in line, but here I am running this. So
I know it's possible, but the actual single, the video's out on the 26th of June. The actual single is being released on all platforms on the 3rd of July. So you can put it on your playlist. And it's a great summer vibe. It's got that kind of big Van Halen riff, and it's just a song about, you turn the windows down and throw an apple core out the window at somebody passing by, do whatever makes you feel good. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. But if it makes you feel good, still don't do that. But if you do, it's not the worst thing you could do. No. It's like when people say to you in life, you should always do what makes you happy. That's all right, and unless you're Jeffrey Dahmer. Yeah, that's not. And Jeffrey.
See, that's Don't do what makes you happy.
Yeah, not when it involves that happiness. That is your happiness. Skip it.
Yeah, if that's your happiness, you got problems.
Yeah. Don't act a twat. I mean, that's just what it's about.
That's such an English word.
Yeah. Oh,
Not many people use twat.
Well, it's
the Google definition of twat would be a pregnant goldfish.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think if you Google it, if you look at these old things called dictionaries, it used to say, because when you're 11 years old, the first thing you do is look up swear words. And twat is pregnant goldfish.
Pregnant goldfish.
Yeah, I don't know why that's such an insult, but it is.
And have you seen why can't I say why can't I say it now? Ted Lasso, have you watched that?
Yeah. It's great. It's a great show.
And he talks about goldfish. Be a goldfish.
Be a goldfish. Yes, it's a very soothing. Memory. Sometimes you just need to watch soothing television. There's only so much murder and devastation you can take, especially in the way the world is at the minute. I'm watching. I tell you what, I'm absolutely addicted to. I'm watching the Jerry Seinfeld comedians drinking coffee thing. It's been going quite a while. Where he as a fellow stand-up comedian, they get in the car and they go for coffee. And he's had everybody in there from Eddie Murphy to a lot of big names. But it's genuinely a very kind of therapeutic program. Because I always liken being a frontman in a rock band to kind of being a little bit stand-up. When you watch stand-up comedians, I've got a real respect. Yes. The way they have to hold a room or on their own. They can't turn around and blame the drummer for dropping a beat or no. It's just the spotlight is on them. And I think the best stand-up comedians is what was David Lee Roth if not the world's finest rock and roll stand-up comedian? Yes,
absolutely. Back in his heyday, yes. Now it's just annoying. Now I'm Dave, shut it.
It's got a little bit of I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, it didn't do Kevin DeBro a lot of good some days either when he let his snarky side start turning a little bit.
Yeah, you know, these guys who've had success and they get to a certain age, you just think, why is it such a problem? It's like the Kiss thing, you know. Why don't they just get in a room and just record an album? Just don't promote it. Just record some music, put it out, and we'll all say, oh, it's good, or it's. Does it get so? There's a lot of kind of grudge keeping that seems to last forever.
And some people play the game then, right? I keep assuming that that's what the Kiss thing has been throughout the years, because they're like, oh, well, you'll see a headline, or a clickbait thing where Ace Frehley said this about Gene Simmons. And 3 months later, Gene Simmons is on the new Ace Frehley song. And you're like, well, what the hell?
Yeah, they know how to get in that wallet. They know how to prise that wallet open and get that cash. That's
it. That's it. Let's just make something up. We're mad at each other.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, so, you know. And they can't do it with new music, can they? You know, that's the thing. I'm talking as a devout Kiss fan all my life, you know.
Yeah, I hear you.
I am. I love them, you know. Yep. I do love them, but it is what it is. It's that showbiz thing, I think.
It is, and it's the difference between it's the difference between building a brand and just being a musician.
Yeah.
You know, when you build something like that, you're like, okay, they've already done the numbers. They've gone through and said, this is what it's going to take for us to have longevity. And some of that is, we've had a beef with you in the past. Now I got to have a beef with you again because we're dying out.
Yeah.
And then we'll work together. And then we'll
see, the Rolling Stones never had to do that, though, did they? No, they seem to have carried on. They seem just to have carried on being the Rolling Stones and not had to resort to that. I don't know.
Yeah, even though they didn't get along all the time.
No.
I think you and I let's work something out. We'll write something up, and you and I will get really we'll just get pissed at each other. And we'll just get on the show one night and just take a piss at each other and just go. And they'll be like, shit, this is awesome. They're both named Stuart. He spells his with an EW and he's with a U, and they're fighting.
What's happening?
Perfect. Brilliant.
I think it might be a symptom of the way the world's going. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
I don't want to talk about I don't do politics and religion and all that. I just don't do it.
I don't either.
I just think, you know, the world's messed up enough, mate. It doesn't need a musician who has no. Don't listen to me about who to vote for. It's the worst thing you can do.
And there, you know, that's the thing. There's so many ways to look at it all. You know,
everybody wants. I always kind of think everybody wants the same thing. You know, you just want good things for your friends, for your family. Everybody just wants good shit in their life, don't they? We don't want. We just want good stuff. We
don't act the shit. That's really it. I mean,
that's it. Why is that so hard?
Why is it so hard?
You know, the good stuff party. If you vote for us, it's just going to be good stuff. You know, it's going to be good stuff for your kids and good stuff for your kids' kids and good stuff. I don't know. I think we're humans. We just have to, don't we? We have to have that. Whoa.
So what would you have? Like, you'd have a donkey, an elephant in the States. You could have the donkey, an elephant, and a unicorn.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Would that be the good stuff, or would it be?
Are these three separate parties? The unicorn party and the elephant party, and
maybe an ice cream cone. Maybe it'd be an ice cream cone.
Yeah, not politicians. And we get rid of politicians, or they get rid of a lot of them, all of them. Gone.
Good stuff.
And let's just vote for just objects, like, you know, animals.
Because God knows, sometimes our presidents just act like objects.
Yeah, just like, you know, a picture of, you know, I don't know, just a random object, a shoe, just a picture of a shoe. Vote for the shoe. Vote shoe.
It'd be like Monopoly.
The shoe is good for you.
I vote for the race car. Yes.
Yeah, the racing car or the shoe. I could see how the racing car would win that argument.
I was going to say, how much hate is going to go toward the people who vote for the wheelbarrow? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, but we're just trying to get things moving. You Shoe, what do you do? Well, I wear the wheelbarrow. We've got a wheel. Yeah, but look at racing car. Racing car's got a freaking engine and everything. No, I'm sticking with shoe.
And then, is there a boat in the original? There's a boat. So there's the ship, or am I
the
just
ship. I voted ship. I'm definitely voting racing car next time.
The top hats. The top hats.
The top. Yeah. The parts you get in a Monopoly game. The top hat. The little. I can't remember. You get a little shoe. I'm getting shoe obsessive. I'll leave that alone.
And it's the shoe with the little piece off the back, so you can like pick it up and go boop 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 boop.
Yeah. I did notice there's a Kiss Monopoly, isn't there? There was Kissopoly.
Dude, I'm this close. Well, I've already asked for it for Father's Day, but I'm this close to just going, should I just order it for Father's Day? Iron Maiden Monopoly.
Yeah. Maidonopoly. I don't know.
Maidonopoly. There you go.
Maidonopoly. It's kind of hard to say. Yeah.
No,
The other thing I can guarantee, if my wife had bought me Kissopoly, I would be the only one sat in the room with it. I'd say, "Come on, it's Christmas. Let's all sit around and play." And they just everybody look at me and just say, "No."
No, they'd be looking at you and go, "Why didn't you say it's Christmas?"
Yeah. A lot of my friends have banned me from it's called the K word. I'm not allowed. Do you know when I've had a few beers and there's like everybody gets talking and Stu, don't talk about Kiss. Why?
We don't care about your history, man.
We don't care. It's like, what? But come on. What about Ace Frehley's new album?
I've heard it. It's good.
It is good. It is good. For Ace, it's very good. Whether it is Ace playing on it, I don't know, but it's good.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've seen albums where he didn't play on it, and those have been some of my favorites. But Creatures of the Night.
Creatures of the Night, yeah.
I love that record.
It's a great album.
It is
absolutely. I Rock and Roll Over. I did a little record shopping in Nottingham, in my hometown, at the weekend.
Do you have a good shop there that you go to?
Yeah, there's a shop. You open the door and you go in. I'm not lying. I should take pictures next time I go. I'll send you the picture.
Please.
It's just records. You have to maneuver around the records, and it's just piles and piles and piles. And I'm not even. This is a true story. I went in there once, and there was a record avalanche, and all the records fell in front of the door, and we had to kind of all make a chain and move the albums from the door so people could get out. It's the most insane thing, and you have to ferret and look through the records, and you have to how much is? But I've got so many bargains from that shop.
I bet.
He's such a great guy. It's called Rob's Records in Nottingham.
Well, I'll tell you what. Then
it's amazing.
Give you a list, and if it's there, you could get it. Just hang on to it. And when I come over to England, I'll just get it all from you.
Yeah. I mean, Rob's Records in Nottingham is just the most incredible. Well, if you come to Nottingham, I'll show you around, Stu. I'll show you around. I'll show you the places. But Rob's Records is just, and you can try things out. You can pick things up for £3, which is, I don't know what that'd be done. Maybe $2.50. You can pick things up and think, well, I like the cover. Just that looks interesting.
Thank you.
I bought this. I bought so many odd albums that I would never have, and I don't think a lot of it is on Spotify anyway. I picked up this album by this band called Snafu that I'd never heard of from the 70s. I got it at Snafu, and I put it on, and they got the most grooviest drums and bass I've ever heard. It's like, this is incredible. This is really good at what it is. I get it. It's great. And I also picked up a copy of the Gene Simmons red vinyl single for Radioactive.
Shut up.
And it had the mask inside it. and that was my wow. I'd not seen that since I was like 11 years old.
Wow.
I picked up that as what. So yeah, I bit his hand off for that. I got that.
This was the last 7-inch that I picked up. I just showed it on the show. Air Race, Jason Bonham's band.
Is that Jason Bonham on drums?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jason Bonham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was a great record, but like 20 years later, they put out a second record without Jason, and it was killer.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Air Race were kind of one of those bands that should have really broke big back in the day, but and you'd think having Jason Bonham on drums, it might have helped. But I know Jason Bonham went on to play with
he had Bonham,
Ian Gillan. Yeah, what was the band? Not Black Star Riders. The other guys, Communion.
Oh yeah, Black Country Communion.
Black Country Communion. Yeah. They were great. I've seen Glenn Hughes with Black Country Communion.
Really, Joe Bonamassa and
yeah, such a great singer. I mean, still, I don't know how old the guy is, but he's still got that amazing voice.
He does. I just saw him live not long ago, just a couple of months ago. I saw him over at the Wildie, which is across the river in Illinois, and killer voice. I mean, still great.
Yeah, and his teeth could be another act.
that smile of his, man.
You could like, wow. You could smile. It could be stood a mile away. It could be stood
up for the teeth alone.
You'd still need shades to take the glare off the teeth.
Mate, if only we were all so fortunate.
If I could get to his age and all I had to worry about was, my teeth, I'd be a happy man.
Oh yeah, and he's in great shape still.
Yeah.
It was just, oh man, it's nuts. It was great. He was doing the whole Deep Purple Burn tour thing. So
it's amazing how you sometimes. I mean, I've got a son who plays bass and he sings as well. My son Zach. Named after the singer out of Rage Against the Machine, funny enough. ZACK. So my son kind of introduces me to a lot of kind of newish music and what he listens to, and a band he introduced me to. I know they've been out quite a while now. The UK band, they're called Bring Me the Horizon, and they've got a new album out called Posthuman. And wow, what it is, you got to be open-minded. It's not. Obviously they walk their own path like you should do as a musician. And wow, what a big sound! And it's heavy with a capital H, but I think there's some great melodies in there, and there's some really interesting little lyrics and music. They're from Sheffield, which is. God, if I was to drive to Sheffield now, I'd be there in 35, 40 minutes.
And that's Def Leppardville, right?
Yeah. Def Leppard played at a local youth club down the road, just like 20 minutes down the road from me. But when I was a kid, sure, we're going to see this when you're all 13. And they used to have a rock club. And we used to leave on a Friday. We'd all get together, the rock club, and they had bands on, and they had bands who played at. It was called High Oakham Rock Club. Saxon played there. It was the craziest thing, and it was just jammed full of teenage kids.
Oh my god! It kind of reminds me of Canada. Canada was like that when you were a kid. I've known people that live here now, and they lived in Canada, grew up in Canada, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Rush came to our school, and Triumph came to our school. Max Webster came."
And it was just music. When you look at a lot of these old lineups back in the set, when you looking at, especially because I'm a Kiss fan, you look through the old kind of promo stuff, and when they started in the 70s, they did play a lot of these school halls, and they did play. And it quite a eclectic kind of, when you see the bands that they were playing with as well, there was like all these weird kind of, there'd be a country band, there'd be Bob Seger with Kiss, wouldn't there? And there'd be Rush with Kiss. And there'd be, people weren't kind of, I don't know, they mixed it up a little bit. That'd be like kind of Metallica playing with, in the early days, playing with Saxon. I suppose they did do things like that, but it was a little less, segregated, let's say. It was a bit more back in the day. You were a good musician. You did what you did, and that's cool. You like what you like.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. And that's kind of where I'm looking forward to getting back into my practice that I did when I first started my new band, and which isn't totally so new anymore, but getting back into that to where I hear a song that I like, I want to put it in the list, and I learn it and say, okay, I learned it. Here we go. Come on in. You know,
BLITZ are doing a gig. Let me get the date right so I don't get shot by the other members. Because I've written it down. Make sure you write things down.
Yeah. As Drew reminded us, don't act a pregnant goldfish.
Don't act like a pregnant goldfish.
So instead of flat from now on, I'll say, don't act a pregnant goldfish.
Don't be such a prego. Don't be such a prego goldfish. You can't even make it sound cool.
Prego. Just came up with a new one, a prego goldie. Don't be a prego goldie.
I like that. I see you made it sound cool.
See,
on Saturday, July the 27th. On Saturday, July the 27th, in Loughborough, in the UK, at the Casbah, we are playing Kicking Up a Storm in its entirety. We're playing every track as it is on the CD. We're playing all the 10 tracks in the order that they are on the CD. And then we're going to go off, have a beer, come back on again for the second half, and we're going to play the BLITZ classic set. So we're going to do 2 sets that night.
All right. And what's the date on that?
That's Saturday, July the 27th at the Casbah in Loughborough. So we're making a big thing of it. We're going to have like special T-shirts for the night, limited edition shirts, and we're just making we're making it a little bit of an event. So we're going to have some good friends there, and we're going to have a really cool night. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. Really am. Then we're out with our good friends, the Gypsy Pistoleros, out on the road with them again in a bit.
Cool. I have to write all this stuff down so I know.
Yeah, but yeah, so we will be performing, which means, you know, when everybody assumes because you've recorded tracks that you're just going to remember them, but we've got it. There's like 4 songs we don't play, so we've got like go in a rehearsal room and kind of just refresh yourselves.
You do,
like with how we did it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, do you know that? Because when you're actually recording it, you're writing like bass parts. That was a cool part. I want to get the parts right, especially because you sing and play bass, well, like we both do. Mm-hmm. You've got like an extra job. You've got to remember the lyrics and the vocals, and you've got to get the bass line. And
I have a tough time. You know.
But yeah, it's like rubbing the head.
It is. It is. Or doing this. Not many people can do this. I don't. You know. They can't go backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
So I might not be the sharpest tool in the box, but damn it, I can do this.
Well, there's a circus somewhere waiting.
They're just, where's that guy? He goes like this, you know. Well, whatever that is, he does it.
Don't know. We sack the bearded lady, and then
as long as he doesn't act a prego Goldie, that's all that I care about.
Prego Goldie. You are such a prego Goldie. Do you know? I think that might be a T-shirt.
Yeah, it is. It totally is. I remember one of my students telling me at school. He goes, Mr. Johnson. I go, yeah, and he goes, you got Riz. I was like, Riz?
Riz?
What? And he said it again, and he goes, you know, like with women. And I was like, whoa, what are you talking about? And he goes, you know, I mean, you talk well with all the women and whatnot. I go, oh.
Is that what Riz is?
That's what I go, oh, you mean charisma.
Yeah,
so
that's what we just said.
Students tries to tell me that's not from where it came. I said, that's where they got that, guys. It's not a real word. That's whoever started that trend is pulling that from the word charisma. And one of them's like, no,
Riz. I get it, like, Riz.
Yeah, it really is. So I don't try to make me feel stupid because you're not grasping onto this. And I'm not calling you stupid, but I'm like, it's not wise to go up against somebody when you can't figure it out.
Yeah, we'll just get the Riz.
We got Riz, man.
Riz.
Man, that's what it's all about.
I like it.
With women, Drew says.
I've got quite the opposite effect, I think.
No, you don't. Bass players are the cuddliest people around, dude. We know this. We're both married, right?
Something happened. I don't know which part of this story. Anyway, somebody came up to me after a gig and they said, "Hey, Stu," says, why do you wear the bandana?" I said, "I'll be really honest." I said, I don't wear it at work. I don't wear it when I'm out. I only wear it when I'm on stage with BLITZ or doing the BLITZ thing. And the reason is, when I take early on, I didn't wear it, and the sound of the band and me with like the bald head. It's not that I didn't care what I looked like. What I cared about was I just looked a little bit too aggressive. Like I should be in Kill Switch Engage or a really cool and that's not quite what we do. You know, like I love Disturbed and things like that, but it didn't suit the vibe of the band. So, you know, lo and behold, I put a bandana on and it just kind of fitted better. So anyway, I put this post on Facebook about, you know, saying, look, somebody came up to me at a gig and they said, "Why do you wear a bandana?" And I explained, "This is why I wear a bandana." And I put a picture of me without the bandana on next to it, and I said, to show her, I don't really care about being a baldy. It's just the way it's the cards God's thrown me. 82 likes in an hour.
It gives you that Brett Michaels head, right?
I think people thought I was having a pity party. You know, I'm so, oh my God, my terrible affliction, my head disability. I wasn't doing that. I was just saying I don't really care. It's like, you know, sometimes Facebook can be such a crazy place. You know, then you put underneath, you put, you know, you spill your heart out into something, and people are going, "Yeah, it's okay."
Yeah.
I'm a baldy. Wow, this must 82. Poor Stu. Stu must be suicidal at night, looking at his bald head in the mirror.
Bald and whatnot.
Thinking, how did I get here?
I love you, man. I love you, man. I love you, man. Come on.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay not to have hair. So you can live with this. It's never been a thing.
I was just talking about that the other night at my gig, as a matter of fact. I'm like, you know, people, if you got issues, call your friends. Stop putting it on Facebook.
Yeah, call your. Yeah, it's good to talk, but come on.
I mean,
I always do this thing on stage where I say, we don't care if you've got hair down to your balls or no hair at all. That's what we say. We're totally unhairist. We're totally unhairist. You do what you want, you know.
Because let's think about it. If you're putting that stuff out on Facebook, what do your friends think?
Oh my God, that'd be a whole different podcast. What my friends think. My friends think. Wow.
Could you have called me? I mean, somebody's probably looking at me going, "Geez, Stuart, you freaking twat! Call the guy." Jeez.
Yeah, yeah. I've had a terrible day. Let me just see how many likes I've got. 2. It better get worse. Oh, I got attacked by a great white shark. Oh, lost a leg. Oh, I can see 4 likes. Oh,
I think I lost a leg. Maybe it just. I think I tripped. Is really what happened. I think.
Oh, back down to 1 like.
I bungled my ankle just to scope.
Life should be like that. You should have a like meter. You should walk one you could walk around with, and people go, and then they can monitor. My friend's kid, he's about 17, and he's got this whole thing. I think it's through Facebook. He's got this whole thing where, like, how would you rate that? How would you rate that out of 10? What do you mean? How would you rate it out of 10? What? That guitar that you like. What do you mean? Why would I rate it out of 10? I'd give it a 6. Oh, would you? Oh, it's like everything's a rate. How would you rate that conversation? Yeah, I can just imagine. When my wife leaves the bedroom, how would you rate Stu? I'd give him a 2.5.
Straight out of my favorite movie. One of my favorite Jim Carrey movies of all time is Liar Liar.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
What'd you think? I've had better.
Yeah. Yes, little meters ran people's necks, and like people when they're talking, when you're having this conversation, you're pressing the like thing. Oh yeah, I liked it when he said, "Oh, I didn't like that."
No, I didn't like that. Take it down a little.
Is this the world we are creating for our children? I think
yes, it's the easiest we can make it, right? So that we don't have to do, or so that later we can pin that on you later. Instead of worrying about,
it's that whole. It's the thing that certain people say, and I think it's true. It's like, I'm just so glad Facebook wasn't around when I was a kid. Really,
yeah.
It just you just wouldn't have had such. I don't think you'd have had such cool times. You wouldn't have been able to kind of just think, I'm just gonna let's go out and sneak some beers and drink some beers behind the bike shed and. Let's go talk to them girls. And just generally not being afraid of embarrassing situations are just a part of life, really, aren't they? So you can't take that away. You can't have a life not filled full of experience, can you?
That's a good point, because that it almost puts the icky business in your life, where you're running the stats. Well, but it's a little more, socially awkward, because you're running the stats going, what are the odds that I'm going to get a girl to go out with me, or whatever.
Yeah.
You're like, well, I'm not even going to, we're not going to even put our efforts in that direction because it doesn't seem to work out. It hasn't worked out for these guys. So we're just going to be awkward and non-social, and we'll be over here. And
yeah, I mean, I think I've got a pretty weird story how I met my wife. I met my wife when I was 15, because it was like, the days where you guys call them a mall, we call them a shopping centre.
Sure, yes.
And everybody used to meet up at the record store, Sid Booth Records it was called, and everybody kind of meet up. And my friends were there, and her friends were there, and we didn't know each other, and we started talking, and then and can I walk you home? And no, you're okay. But I walked her to the bus stop anyway. It's like, can I have your phone? No, I don't. And I asked, I don't want to give you. Nowadays, I'd have been called a stalker.
Heck yeah.
So then I jumped on the bus with her. I didn't know where she lived.
Charming.
Sat next to her, followed her home, and said, "Oh, can I see you?" So then she went in the house and got a pen and wrote a number on it and gave me.
Was it the right number?
Yeah. So that's when we were kids, and we just stayed. We kind of always knew each other, and through that again was through music, because my friends who I was in, when I was 15, we were kind of in a school band together, and that drummer knew my wife, who became the lady who became my wife. So it was like all people who knew each other, and then.
Right.
Years later, we dated, and obviously we carried on dating. And then we split up for a while. Then we got back together. We got back together when we were about 26 and got married.
Wow!
So that was weird. That's from knowing each other when we were kind of kids hanging out.
Yeah.
And I think that's I don't know. Nowadays it's all Facebook, innit? And I don't know.
What was the coolest?
Different world.
What was the coolest music thing that you found that you had in common?
You know what? Honestly, I think it was Kiss.
That was part of mine between me and my wife.
Yeah, I think that was the thing. And I remember because I Was Made for Loving You had just come out, and I had to defend it.
Oh, wow.
All my friends were at that point were listening to like Ted Nugent and Double Live Gonzo were massive at that point.
Massive. 1978, big time.
You know what? Regardless what anybody thinks about Ted Nugent, right? And I have got a lot of love for the guy.
Yeah.
I know he's what he is, but who isn't? But the point is, what a guitar player. Just what a guitar player. I remember when Chuck Berry passed away, not that long ago. It'd been about maybe about 4 years, 5 years. Chuck Berry passed away. And Ted Nugent did a little post, and he had his guitar, and he played played Johnny Be Good. He just sat and played it, and I just thought, what? And he was just amazing. I love to, even to this day, I just think he's a great guitar player, and it's the best rhythm. I challenge anybody to listen to Double Live Gonzo and not say that. Listen to how good this guy is, and what a great band. I mean, Stranglehold and Stormtrooping and just everything. Some of his rhythm work, so ahead of his time. Really, it's the sort of thing that James Hetfield, Metallica, he's got that rhythm thing, and you kind of listen to that kind of early Ted, and Ted had that similar kind of thing, big on the rhythm with the rhythm man really banging that rhythm out.
Yeah,
and man, I love that. And another album from that time that I love. Well, there's two. They're all live albums actually. There was Thin Lizzy Live and Dangerous.
Oh yeah.
And the most underrated live album ever.
Yeah.
God, what about Live Bootleg by Aerosmith? Don't know if you've ever heard. Did you ever hear that one? Live Bootleg is so underrated.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's Aerosmith when they were kind of really raw and bluesy. The jamming's in there, and the best version of Sweet Emotion you'll ever hear in your life.
Like I'm trying to find this thing too about Ted, about his early career before Amber
Juice.
Am I gonna say I don't want to say the wrong thing. I just don't want to say the wrong thing. Because he was a bass player, because he was up in Motown area. So he played bass, and I can't find anything on here about that part.
He's still one of them artists I would go and see, and he's just, and that's what I mean. Again, forget about the party. He's a musician, just listen to his music and enjoy his music.
Yeah,
who cares?
Yeah, it's a tough one because I mean. I think the biggest problem for me, sometimes they bring some of that bullshit to their concerts.
Yeah.
And they're like, dude, just don't really, because I'm here for the music and not for when you act a twat on the internet.
Yeah.
Like,
you play guitar and do your thing.
Yeah. Because
the thing that got you there.
Yes. The reason that I got you there.
Yeah.
You did what you did to get in front of me, and then we all did what we did because you got in front of us. So then it's a cycle, and you're like, just stick with that. Let's stay in that lane. If you'd have acted the way you do now back then, if some of those things, I probably never would have.
It's the same thing with Gene Simmons shoots his mouth off, and I've learned to switch off from all that now. I've learned to switch off from it and think, I love your music and I love what you did for music. Yeah. I love it all, but I don't have. It's just like listening to you. I don't know. It's just like. I'm the last person. I'm the last person you want to be. I don't know. Life's complicated enough. I don't know.
It is. When you step in a pile of shit, you don't like it.
Yeah. See, we've got. This is not at all a political conversation, but we've got our just like you in America, we're voting anew. The time has come to vote. And whenever anybody asks me at work, I always say, I don't believe in any of them. I don't trust any of them. I don't any of them. It's like. That's just me. I don't want to know. I don't trust any of them.
Yeah.
You can stick anybody. We talked about, do you know who came up in this conversation? This is going to sound really kind of strange, but because it's D-Day, I saw a bit about Eisenhower, right? And regardless of what you think about Eisenhower, whatever, I don't know that much. All I know about Eisenhower was he was a no bullshit kind of guy. This is the impression I get, right?
Yeah.
No bullshit kind of guy. And he looked like a politician, But I'm thinking, I said, look, what would they do with Eisenhower now, they'd stick him in a designer suit, and they'd tell him, they'd have people writing his. I'm not saying this didn't used to happen in the day, but he was a do-it guy. He got the fucking thing done, you know.
Yeah.
And that's all I want. I don't want my politicians to be celebrities, or I don't want them to be
my mommy.
Play the personality card. I don't want it to be somebody I can have a beer with. I'd sooner sit with you. I'd sit with you and have a beer, dude, any day of the week. I'd, you know, sit and have a beer and shoot the breeze. But I don't want to be able to do that with my politician. I want my politician to make the country a good place for everybody. You know, I don't really care about, you know, it's not like the Kardashians, is it? It's not like, it's not a person. They want to make it a personality thing. I just want somebody to say, this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to do it, and we're going to do it. And no bullshit kind of guy. Yeah. And I was saying that people like that, like, you know, like the strong characters, like, you know, Eisenhower or whatever, these strong characters who got the job done, that's all anybody wants.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, I'm speaking for myself. I'm no political.
No, I get it. I get it.
But all I'm saying is, we just want somebody to come along.
Yeah.
And say, yeah. And I know everybody says, well, you've got to have charisma. Yeah, but the charisma is outweighing the getting the job done thing. There's a lot of nerds that could get the job done.
Well, yeah. Well, you got to know that if it's charisma that's driving it, you're just telling me what I want to hear. And
of course you are. It becomes showbiz. It becomes show business. And the minute it becomes showbiz, and I suppose in a way that's the way that all politics is quantified now. It's like likes and involvement and following what your demographic is, and it's become like a showbiz thing. And and I think that's the wrong thing, because showbiz is about entertaining people for 2 hours and giving somebody a great time and transporting. It's just showbiz is best is escapism.
Yes.
But, yeah, and you don't particularly want that from your politicians, do you? You don't want, like, you know.
No, not especially if they're using a bunch of our money to throw these gala balls and, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, just whoa, what the hell are you doing? I don't.
Yeah.
You know. Now, Drew's got a few good ones in here today. He's talking about Ted Nugent. He says, "Play your guitar and shut your mouth, Ted." That's. Well, yeah, and Frank Zappa, right? Shut up and play your guitar.
Yeah.
And he says of these politicians thing, none of them are trustworthy. Politicians should keep the good times rolling. See, there you go.
Yeah, that's what we want. Yeah, and that's what we want them to do.
Yeah,
that's what we want. We just want jobs, and we just want good things for our kids, and we just all want the same thing. Don't vote for me.
By the time they get there, they're too steeped in all the crap they've been doing and manipulating over the years. So,
come and slide into this designer suit like a snake shedding its skin, and tell everybody what they want to hear.
Yeah, well, or we'll stick our hand up your ass, and you're the puppet, and we'll tell you what to say. Yeah,
you know, in England at the moment, for a long time we've had the NHS, so we got free healthcare, and it's becoming harder and harder for us, to the UK, to keep it going, and nobody realizes how absolutely, you know, good this thing is that we've got.
Right.
And we're kind of slowly being pushed into this. Yeah, but, you know, if you're private healthcare. No. My wife has got a thing called follicular lymphoma. It's a form of cancer. It's kind of blood cancer. She's had this thing for 10 years, right? Scary shit. You know, she's had 2 lots of chemotherapy. She's constantly tested. But here we are, 10 years down the line. So for the tests, for the chemo, to pay for the chemo, to have kept her alive for this long, if we would have been paying for it, we'd have lost everything, dude.
Oh my God.
You know?
Yes.
So I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, not alone. in all of that. That
Yeah,
sucks.
I'm not pulling a pity card or anything.
Well,
I'm
no,
just
you're
saying
not. I'm just saying.
I've kind of experienced it. We've
Yeah.
experienced it kind of up close, and
Yes.
man, we'd have just like lost everything, you know. But
yeah. No, it's all I'm trying to say is that it's terrible how widespread that is. I mean, it's like there's that story. That's terrible. And then you've got another somebody right here. You can just turn a little bit this way, and there's somebody else that you're like, oh my God, you're going through that. What? And oh my God, you guys, I don't know what,
it gives you a perspective, and on
does.
on the upside of this, like the thing with my wife is it taught us a really valuable lesson. It's like shit, let's live life, and I can't keep up with her. She's like, we went to see Jane's Addiction in Manchester in the UK last week.
Very cool.
And just a band I'd always wanted to see, Dave Navarro, and just did great drums and bass, and so we went to Manchester to see him, and we're off to see. I think we're off to see. She wants to see Journey and Cheap Trick are coming over to the UK as well.
Far out.
So we got tickets for that, and I'm even doing the Springsteen thing, and he's doing Wembley Arena. I think we're going to do. Do you know what the thing about love? He's a love him or hate him kind of guy, Springsteen.
Yeah.
And we went to Aston Villa Park last year.
Yeah.
And I had no expectations of it at all. You know, it's a football stadium.
Yes.
It's the first time I've seen the guy. I kind of got into him more through my brothers. My brothers were playing Springsteen everywhere, so it just kind of got locked in there.
Absolutely.
I weren't expecting a lot. He had no big light rig or anything like that. It was just him playing, you know. And I gotta say, mate, it just blew me away. I've never known anything like it. No big light show, no pyro, just him. Yep. And I was for 3 hours. It felt more like 10 minutes. It took you through the whole emotional ride of like, and he had people crying, he had people laughing. Wow. I can't explain it. It's like it's a 7-year-old guy gets up there, and it's just I don't know. I just don't know. I was when we were walking out, and I said to my wife, I said, "Man, that was like a religious experience."
I was just about to say that.
And you know, I get it with Bruce. I got a lot of friends who don't like him and a lot of things to do, but at what he does, man, is he good at it? You know.
Yeah.
Good at it.
I play. We just played a Bruce Springsteen song. We play a Bruce Springsteen song that a lot of people probably don't know is a Bruce Springsteen song. At every gig, we play "Light of Day," which was recorded by Joan Jett, and there's videos of Joan and Bruce playing that song together live. So it's great song.
He did. I mean, Bruce he's a great storyteller, and he's great.
Yes, absolutely.
He's a great storyteller, and it'll be a sad day when he goes. Sad day.
Yeah, I had there was one of our subs at school wore her Eddie Van Halen shirt the other day when we were having our last day with the students, and I was like, I pointed to her shirt and I said, "Hey guys, my students," I'm like, "Hey, that's the shirt. Look at the shirt." And she's like, "They don't know who he is." I go, "Oh, they know in my class. I teach them this." Because like he played on Michael Jackson, you know, so if you're playing on Michael Jackson's record, you better know.
Yeah. Eddie was the man.
Yeah. I mean, any way that you can connect it to these guys. Otherwise, I think here's what I think too, Stu, is that I think we disregard younger generations when we don't talk about that, when we act like they don't know who it is, just because somebody else goes, "I don't know who that is."
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like when my younger staff members, I'm like, "I just met Ace Frehley from Kiss," and they're like, "Who?" I'm like, Ace Frehley? And they're like, I'm like, "Kiss?" They're like, I'm like, you serious? Okay. All right. That's cool. I get it. But
yeah, it's that weird thing, you know. It's like I don't know. In the I have to be
you're
careful
right,
what I
Drew.
mean.
They should know.
Yeah, they should though. Yeah, it'll things have a way of coming around again, and I
Yes.
think you know
It's
you can
cyclical.
go so far with drum machines and
Mhm.
auto tune
Yep.
and hip hop and grunge and all these things. All these things can have their time,
Yep.
but rock and roll, I think, is it's so steeped in all rock and roll means to me really is real musicians
Hmm.
playing their instruments
Yep.
and pushing their soul through their instruments. And I
Hmm.
think that's just a universal thing. I don't think that's ever going to change.
Well, and
That's never going to change.
no, you're right. You're right. And even if it is something that's a little electronic, and let's say that it's something that is uh, computer driven, whatever, very technical, and not necessarily an acoustic style or something where your fingers are touching strings or your hands
Yeah.
have sticks that are hitting skins. It's even if it's something like that, as long as you're doing it, then
Yeah. See,
it's
Prince was the
still
big guy for that for me. What I still get out of Prince music was even when he was in his 60s, he was
Mhm.
never afraid. Some of the stuff he did later on, it's just as innovative, really. It's just he's never afraid to say, "Oh well, I'm gonna have a I'm gonna have a band. I'm gonna have." He did the One-Eyed Girl thing where he had an all-girl backing band, and they were
Mhm.
all amazing musicians. And then he had, "I'll try this and I'll try that." He was totally unafraid. I'll do a track with Kendrick Lamar, and then I'll do a track with He just kind of had that whole
Yeah.
unafraid way of looking at music, and he's probably one of my favorite guys, really, Prince.
Mhm. Did you happen to see The Greatest Night in Pop Music, where they did it's that new documentary that came out that has lots of brand new interviews with people who did the We Are the World thing?
No, no, I've not seen it, but
Then you need to. You need to. There's a bit of a sadness. There was a sadness thing for me then thinking of Prince. Watch the show. I'm not going to ruin it for you. So,
I
but
will do. I'll make sure I do that.
it's a great show. I really enjoyed it. It
It
had some
looks
great
like it should be a bit rubbish, but I'll watch it because I remember the We Are the World thing. We had the one in the UK, and everybody was just fighting for the mic. Me, me. It's a bit no me. It's like we had the big concert. We had Queen who came on, and I remember where I was on that. Everybody remembers where they were on that day.
Yeah.
When the Live Aid went and Queen come hit that stage, because if you've seen the Queen movie, they include it in there at the end. And
Yeah. That movie was
Queen were written off at that point by
yeah.
all the music press,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you can't understand how much of although they'd only been in like their early 40s,
Mhm.
they'd have been written off as dead, and all
Mhm.
the new bands at the time like U2 and
Mhm.
Spandau Ballet, or all the new bands were kind of smirking at them and expecting nothing. And if you watch that performance, I mean, you can still get it on YouTube. Queen at Live Aid. You watch that performance, it's just a masterclass, mate. It's an
It is.
absolute masterclass, and
You're
it just
absolutely
shows you. It really shows you when your backs. You can see that their backs against the wall. If you watch the Queen movie, their backs were against the wall. They had to prove something, and
mhm.
it's just what a performance. And
So let
everybody who was slagging them off three
yeah.
weeks before Live Aid was kissing their arse after that.
See, yeah, and is that the sickest thing ever? You're like, "Why do you do that? Why why do you have to, uh, put this wall up when all you're doing is joining this crowd, and then you're gonna just join the crowd back when everything's good? Oh, you guys were great. Oh my god, I've always believed in you guys." You're like,
It's that. It's like
"Shut
that thing
the hell up and
when
leave."
you have when you have a great gig and everybody, you know, the guy in the other band hugs you and says, "Great show, man."
Yeah. That's when you know you made it.
Then you can feel the knife in your back sometimes.
Yeah, you're like,
you don't really mean that, do you?
Just, God, don't hold on that tightly, please. Get rid of the knife. Take it home.
Yeah. It must take a lot of self-belief to carry that through.
I think it does, and I think yes, exactly, Drew. Fair weather fans, that's absolutely what we're talking about. It's just it's that whole situation when people just jump on board, and it makes it makes some of us just throw up into our mouths a little bit when you're just like, God, just shut up. Stop.
Where were you when the going was tough? You know?
Right.
It's like when Kiss did the reunion tour, isn't it?
I was just going to bring up Kiss. We did it again.
Sorry.
Here.
It's like Kiss did it. Everybody loved Kiss again. It's like, oh my God. It's like, okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, I'll stick it. I had to stick by him through Crazy Nights. I should have got a medal for that.
Oh, now come on. Really? Crazy. I like that record.
You really do?
I really like that record.
I think the production's just a bit.
Well, yeah, but I mean, who was that? Was that Nevison? Who was that did that one?
Bruce Fairbairn.
Fairbairn did that one?
No, you're right. It's Nevison. It's Ron Nevison. No, you're right. You are right. Okay. It was Ron Nevison.
I have to say that
it was the person who did the Heart stuff that got Heart back in the charts.
Yep,
Ron Nevison. Right. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
And Ozzy. He did an Ozzy. He did Ultimate. Did he do Ultimate Sin?
Ultimate Sin. Yeah.
Shot in the Dark's a great song.
Oh,
it's a great song.
It is that's a great record. Although I saw something about it recently where somebody was talking about it, but I think it was about how it all came to be and all that stuff. It's just they went through a whole lot of shit with Ozzy taking writing credits, all that stuff. And
I think the saddest thing is the first album, Blizzard of Oz album. Mm-hmm. The bass player Bob Daisley, had a lot to do with writing the lyrics and getting involved with the music, and then Sharon basically came along and re-recorded it later, didn't she? She recorded it. She had all the parts taken off by the other musicians, and had other people come in.
Yeah, I think part of that is real shit. However, part of that, you're like, we know how much longer Bob Daisley worked with him, and you're like, at some point, don't you just say, I'm done? You've shit on me enough, and I'm not going to do it anymore. So I'm like,
you know what? The music business is such a crazy place, really. People always want you to treat it like a business, but sometimes there's just that little bit of shut up and put up, and maybe I'll get to the next bit, and that happens with a lot of musicians. Mm-hmm. Like this, the front man becomes this thing, and I mean it happens in a lot of bands. It's these petty jealousies sometimes, and I just think, because you're in a band, you're all in it together, aren't you? I mean, it's like. Yeah. It's like we split all the writing in Blitz. It's all split 3 ways. Mm-hmm. We all put our blood, sweat, and tears in it, and you just think, well, everything's split 3. I know Sabbath initially, all their songwriting credits was split between everybody. It was Black Sabbath, and I think if you keep it like that, you've less chance of it becoming, a one-man band, or
Yeah, and I do know that it gets tough though, because like if you're in a Motley Crue situation where that's what they were doing, and here you are, Mick Mars, and you're like so much older than the rest of the guys. Not only that, you've got illnesses that you can't control, and then they want to cut you partly out, and you're like, okay, I jumped on board with you kids, and we were going to split it. And now you want to change the deal. And you're like, eh. But there again, at that point in time, with that career that they've had, I'm sure he's got plenty of money.
Yeah, he'll be fine. I think he'll be fine. I just think it's a bit sad to bring it all down to that. It's like, perhaps if they'd have just kept all that business side of things behind closed doors, don't bring your dirty laundry out in front every 2 minutes. And I think they might have survived longer because and plus, do you really want to know what's behind? Do you really want to know who's behind the Santa suit? I don't. Do you really want to know?
You don't.
It's like just give me the show and deal with all that.
Yeah.
And the business side of it. Very early on with BLITZ, what I experienced that we had that is a little surreal, and really years ago. When we were kids, I was kind of into metal, and there was another guy kind of into Elvis Costello and a guitar player was into like Talking Heads, and
I was into both
Elvis,
of those.
Elvis Costello. There used to be a little bit of a line.
Yeah.
And anyway, I went on to my thing, and he went and did his thing, and he did really well within the music business. And then Facebook comes along, and I reconnect with this guy, and he said, "Oh," and I'm looking on this Facebook page, thinking, "Good, this guy's done pretty well for himself. He's done pretty well." And we went, and he said, "Look, I've been in the music business, all my life." He says, "But if you want to come to my house and bring the band, well, I don't mind giving you some advice." And I'm thinking, okay, you hear this a lot in this. Yeah, there's a lot of these guys about, but so I told the other guys, let's go and see this guy and let's chat. So we got in a car and we drove to this place, and it had a gated thing where you had to press the button and say, who is it? And so the gates opened. We're traveling down this road, and there's horses running. There's a lake and stables, and we come to this house, and it's like a massive glass front. I've never seen. It's just like something out of a movie.
Wow.
And we walk up, and oh, hello there, and he invites us in, and we have coffee, and he's telling us. Some people, when the bullshit, you're bullshitting. Anybody can bullshit. This guy's got the gold discs behind him, right? And everything. He takes us into this back room, and he said, and he was telling us a story, and he told us a story about. I said, some of the guys I've managed. It's Peter Gabriel, Kate Bush, Spandau Ballet, and Prince. Oh man. Tell me about Prince. He says, well, Prince, he told me a story about how Prince was meant to be releasing an album through an English newspaper called Daily Mail. It was like, wow. And he'd made this bargain with the Daily Mail in the UK. And my mate, who I'm talking about, he was part of working with Prince and working with the newspaper and getting this album out. And he told me all these stories about Prince, and Prince phoning him up in the middle of the night before the album was meant to go out with the newspaper. Phoned up and said, "God has spoken to me and told me I'm not to do this. It can happen." So my mate said, "Well, tell God to stop the vans that are now travelling all around Europe with this paper. Tell God to sort it out." And apparently Prince slammed the phone down. Then the phone rang again 10 minutes later, and Simon says, "Yeah, you had to call him by his full name. Was his name something like Prince something Rogers? It's like 3-barrel name or something.
Yeah.
And you had when you spoke to him, you had to use the whole 3-barrel name, or he got shirty apparently. And Simon says at the end, he phoned him back and apologised and said, "And thank you for all your help and putting this out." And it was such an awkward prego Goldie, such a twat to work with. But he told us all these little stories, and and the advice that he gave us very early on, the thing that stuck with me and the guys was, he said, from the beginning, make sure that your logo, your artwork, make sure people know what they're getting. Brand yourself well, and that was his big thing. And surround yourself by cool people who are gonna support you and work hard. And he gave us this look, absolutely. And he goes around using. Part of his thing he does now is he goes around to universities in the UK, and he gives like one of these talks to students who want to get into the music business.
Wow!
And that was one of the best nights as far as what we took away from it. It was just amazing, because this guy's speaking from experience and talking about setting a business up.
So it kind of reminds me of Rob Stampede over there, who works with, he works with different people, but he's part of the whole Wayward Sons thing. And I know he's worked with them a little bit, but yeah, that's what it reminds me of, because Rob's got a bunch of different things that he puts out there now and kind of does, how-tos and that kind of thing.
Yeah. And taking on board that the music business is a totally different place now, it's a different place, and if you're a musician, the thing what people the thing was, the big labels, they're going to rip you off, and the labels. But the thing, the labels, and now it's like you can do it all yourself. But the thing that the labels were good at, the labels were kind of good at focusing. Some, not always, but you had a target as well. Let's get an advance, which is basically a big loan that you've got to pay back.
Right.
It was never sold like that. There wasn't, we got an advance. I mean, I've been in bands who've had advances before, and then you get thrown a bill. You got to pay all this back, and the whole game's changed since that's been taken away. And we're totally self-managed, so everything we do is ours. Kev's like the new video for Crawling on Glass. Kev's edited that. He spent all the time and effort to do that, and everything we do when we talk is between us three, and in a way that's great, because you get in the creative side. But the negatives, not the negative, but you haven't got somebody behind you really going, lads, this is what this is the way, don't do this, and you've not got that. It's like sometimes, especially with musicians, you need somebody to keep you on track sometimes. Or you start getting a bit, we can do this, and especially with BLITZ, because we just we'll say one thing and then we'll go, we do that, maybe now, and we're like 16-year-old kids and in a room when we're in a room together, and we just start. It just happens, and that's the beautiful thing about the band. But sometimes you just need somebody to play teacher. You need somebody to play the boss.
Yeah.
You need somebody to smack the stick and go, lads. What the hell are you doing?
Yeah. I think it's kind of funny when you mention it like that. I know exactly in a certain way. I know what you're talking about playing music, and you're like, yeah, let's do that, and we'll do that gig. And what other one? Oh, we got that one. Yeah, we can do that. That's going to be right here, and we have this, and then we're going to. Okay, so if we do that this here, it reminds me of rearranging a house, because I'm in the midst of this right now, and it reminds me of that, because how about those times where you're like, okay, I'm going to replace this shelf. I'm going to do it this way. You organize it, and then you turn around and go, oh yeah, all that shit's got to go in there too.
Yeah.
And you're like, I didn't think about that. Whereas that's what the record companies or managers do, is they get in there and they're like, while you're thinking about all your stuff, you kids playing music, writing music, you adult kids, do all that. We'll take care of this. But like you say, it's going to cost you.
Yeah.
And you're like, Well, what do I want to do? Be a hardworking adulting kid who may not get every damn opportunity that's possible?
Yeah,
Or do you want to have somebody taking a bunch of your money that doesn't give a shit about you, only about what you've done for them lately? And
exactly. You
are
know,
going to drop you a bill.
we put a thing up. I think it's some months ago. We just thought we put a thing about being self-managed, and we kind of put, is there anybody out there who would be prepared to come on as the fourth member, so as a management? And we got loads of replies and things, but
Of course.
the predominant thing we thought was, I mean, these guys had like 20 or 30 acts, and
Yeah.
we didn't want to be in, and this sounds terrible thing to say, but we don't want to be fighting for attention, really. It's like we want somebody to come on board and say, all right, I'm the fourth member of the band.
Mhm.
Let's talk, let's talk Blitz, let's sort it. We don't want to be, we've been in that position once before, very early on with, we're management, and he was a great guy, and we're still really friends with the guy, but we had to kind of, we had to go our separate ways, because basically he had so much on his plate, and he must have had at least 25 bands, and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
how can anybody, any of not just us, but how could any of those bands sustain quality?
I think,
What
yeah.
the quality and what they're getting and what they're doing for you.
Yeah. And I think at that point, in those shoes, it's a numbers game, right?
Yeah, yeah,
It's kind of like we play gigs, right? I mean, for you and I as musicians, we play gigs. Those are our numbers. How many gigs am I going to play? Okay, so this one may go well, this one might, and this one may not. But it's a numbers game. We're gonna do them all. Well, yeah, but nobody shows up at this one. We're gonna do it because it's good business and we want to get our name around, right? And then that way, when somebody goes, "Oh, they played there, and they played there," whereas a management person is, I don't know, they got to cover their ass by going,
yeah, exactly.
you know,
So
but
what you, yeah, it's so we ended up not taking anybody on, because we said, let's just stick with us, because um, we kind of know what we want, and we know, how to maneuver around the system enough to do it. But
yeah,
a lot of younger bands are going to be taken in by
yep,
some of these unscrupulous characters there's a lot of sharks out there. You got to know the fins when you see them in the
that's
water.
right.
You got to know to avoid them. And there's some great people. I mean, we've been lucky, We've been lucky. I mean, Dave Ted has been really good with us, and
Hmm.
so far we've got such a cool relationship. And it's like, and Dave don't piss about. He's very, right, guys. This, and
Hmm.
all we've got to do is do it.
Yeah,
It's like that's,
that's pretty
that's
much it.
great.
Yeah,
That's great. Just tell us what you need, and we'll
yeah,
do.
yeah.
And it's like, we still get that thing where, as far as the writing process, I mean, the other two guys, because I've got to do this, um, they're in the studio tomorrow. I
Okay.
can't be there because I got a funeral to go to. But the two guys will be putting drums down for a track tomorrow, but with what we've written. And
Hmm.
that's, I think, the great thing is the way we work. We work very, I can't explain it really. We don't get shirty about things. It's like we've got all these gigs coming up,
Yeah.
and there's just one gig our drummer can't do through having commitment. So, but the drummer in the headlining act said, we've already done this once before. He says, well, I'll stand in. So
Yeah.
we'll do 2 or 3 rehearsals. He knows our music really well.
Good.
He'll stand in for one gig. And Matt,
Yeah.
the real Blitz drummer, he's fine about it. He says,
Right.
well, we've just got to promote. Yeah, we're out there to promote this album, and we've got an album out. We need to be out there and
Yeah. And
just
you
do what
need
we
to.
do.
Yeah, and you need to. I totally believe that you need to have that in order for in order for music to survive, we have to work together.
Yeah.
We can't go, no, that's not my band, or no, you're not sitting in for me. Well, you're not the band, dude. And it's those moments like with what Matt's doing where he says, it's about the band. It's not about me.
It's about the band.
It's about the band. And how many times have we seen it now where other people sit in for somebody, even at huge tours?
Yeah. It's about the music. You know, we've got this album out. We need to be on the road, and it's just the way it is. You know,
right.
It's a little easier for me because my hours, my work pattern's pretty flexible, so it's not so bad. But you know, real life calls. You know, got to pay the bills. You got to pay the bills.
That's it. That's it. And if you're going to build the machine, I mean, sometimes you got to just stick a cotter pin in there. Not to tell you that the replacement musicians are cotter pins, but I'm just saying sometimes in the machine you got to put a substitute part in there. You know, chew some gum, put it on there to make it stick for the moment until you can get it fixed. You know, or back together, and then it keeps running. But you know what? That doesn't make that gum any less important. That's an important something to keep it together.
You know, it's the old cliche. I mean, save the ego for the stage. Please, you know, when you get on the stage, that's your time to kill. That's your time to perform. That's your time to shine, if you like. You know, you're up there. You're there to do a job. You're there to entertain and blow minds. And then when you come off stage, you're just you. You just leave that there.
Yes. Please.
You know, do what my wife does when I get home and say, you're not with the band now. You're not in the band. Take that stupid bandana off your head and walk the dog.
Which then leads us back to Aerosmith. See? It all.
Yeah, walk the dog.
It's all a cycle.
Yeah, it's all a cycle. Welcome to the real world.
That's great. Well, I should let you get rolling. Here is real quick. Let me put this up. Folks, this is their promo piece that they've got running right now on YouTube.
You keep messing with my head. You got me crying about again. More you say, the less I hear. You got me crying about
God, I love the artwork.
That's all phone footage. What you're looking at there is phone footage from people who come to the gigs. They send us their footage, and Kev's edited it and done the lyric video. So Kev's done all that. So keep it in house.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I'll have to get it. You'll put me in touch with them. That'd be great.
Yeah, it'd be, it'd be great for you to talk to Kev. I'll sort that out. That out. That'll be a night you won't forget.
Yeah. Oh man,
he's got some stories. I'll tell you. He's got some stories. That geezer. I'll tell you.
That's another great one. Geezer.
Wow,
that's great.
Geezer.
And we could say that because we're bass players.
Yeah, Geezer Butler, the man himself.
Do you know what? Right now, I don't know if you know this, but he's running a promotion out there where he's got his book autographed.
Yeah.
So I gotta get out there and order one of those.
Yeah, interesting to know his side of things.
Yeah, I listened to a lot of it on a road trip. I listened to the audio.
Does he do the audio?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's got a really thick Birmingham accent, a Brummie accent.
He does.
So I'm just wondering how you go on with that accent, because it can be tricky.
I do very well. I'm not saying I do it. I can understand everything. It's not. I mean, when I put on the movie Once, I mean, I realize that's got that Irish thing going on. But
yeah,
when I put on Once, if I want to know what he's saying in the beginning, when he's up against his cousin, I'm like, I have to put the subtitles on because I'm like, what? You know, that brogue is real heavy. But I remember decades ago, and I just saw this friend of mine. She was just in town with her son, and she invited me to come over to the house. She goes, "You got to come over. This family, the father used to work with my dad, and they're back in town from England. They lived in Tyne and Wear, and they're back and they're visiting, and I can't understand what they're saying." I was like, okay,
wow. So that's,
I grew up on
Tyne and Wear. That's kind of getting towards New Scotland, kind of
Yes.
Newcastle. Wow.
Yeah.
Brummy. I once I played in a band that were based in. I travelled to Birmingham, and they were all Brummies. And you're right, Stu. What we doing? It's like, you're right, all right, yeah. It's like, it's amazing. You go 50 miles one way in the UK, and
it's totally different.
Accents change all the time.
Accents change.
Yeah.
And I don't, you know, did I say that yours was similar to Toby's? But
it may be.
Because
where is he from?
He lives like south of Bath.
Bath's quite posh, I seem to remember.
Yeah, but I mean, I'd have to know exactly from where he
does he sound like he's from Downton Abbey or Bridgerton? Like,
no.
Hello there.
I did start watching Bridgerton not long ago.
Bridgerton.
Yeah.
Nottingham. There's two ends to it. There's it can be a little northern, so it can be, you all right, mate, and we call everybody youth. You all right, youth? Yeah, all right, mate. Yeah. Mate and youth are used a lot with an F. All right, youth. Yeah. And
how'd that come about, I wonder?
Youth. It's like youth. So it's like, you're right, youth. Then youth become with an F on the end. Youth.
Okay.
You got it, youth. It's just that, and it's some like 10 miles that way is Sutton in Ashfield, and they've got an horrendous accent. They say things like they call curtains, as in, you know, your curtains.
Right.
They call them cottons. Shut cottons, and they call the ladies call a purse a poss. Get your poss out. Shut cottons. You know, it's like,
as long as they don't call it a puss. That's what.
No, you don't want to get in that. Don't be getting that out in public.
Did you say get your puss out? What?
Get your puss out.
Don't say that.
Well, if you think about it, it's where the money is. Your money maker. That's what they call it.
Shake your money maker.
Shake your money maker. I can see Kev's phoning me at the minute. His little things come up and it says Kev. So he's actually ringing me now.
Is that right?
Yeah. I don't know what would happen if I pressed the green button. I'm not sure what would happen, so I'm not going to do it.
I don't know either.
I don't know whether he joined the conversation, or he wouldn't be on the Zoom, would he? So he won't be there.
Yeah, just send him the link, and then
I'll send him the link. Yeah, it'd be great. I'll sort something out for that, and next time have a word with Kev.
Yeah, because all you gotta do is just take that link I send you, just forward it on to them.
Yeah, we'll sort it, Stu.
Yeah, we'll get that say it sorted.
Yes,
that was my favorite sign in the tube. Well, that and mind the gap. Mind the gap. I have a T-shirt that says "Mind the Gap." I love that. But say it sorted.
What's that? What is that from?
It's from the tube. When you get out of the tube, you look across on the wall.
Oh yeah, of course it is.
The say it sorted. It's so Britishly kick ass.
I love my favorite. Well, I've been to San Francisco and I enjoyed it, but I've been to New York so many times. For all my sins, I love New York. I know. I love the blunt. you know, when you're English,
Mm-hmm.
everybody's kind of polite. No, well, no, that'd be a lie. But most people are. We've got this Englishness about.
Like Eddie Izzard talks about the Church of England.
Yeah, we're kind of English. Then you go to New York, and it's just like, so it's refreshing from that point of view that you've got people get out of the gate, hey buddy, and everybody's so in your face, and everybody's like, give me the fucking money, and everything's like, and
Could you be a little more?
I just love it. And when I get back to the UK, I realise what a bunch of pansies we are. After being in New York for a week, I get back and it's like, get out the, excuse me, sir. That's what we say, excuse me over here. Get out the fucking way, buddy. It's like, and it's like, it's a religious experience for me being in New York. Everybody's rude. I'm not upset. I love New York. I'm not saying everybody's rude. I'm saying everybody's to the point, and nobody screws around.
Right.
And just characters everywhere, really. Yeah. And every time I go, there's a little adventure. There's always a little adventure that unfolds.
That's the way I felt.
And it made me love the States so much. I've been 7 times now. Then we went to San Francisco, which is kind of New York light. It's not. It's okay. It's going through a lot. San Francisco is. I think it's pretty. It can be kind of pretty. Get the ferry. Went to Sausalito. That was nice and everything. Yeah. But I did miss New York. I just miss it. There's a vibe about it that's just. It is. Wow. In
fact, I told my wife. I said I would spend a month in New York every year.
I think it might kill you. It just might. It's just wow. I mean,
because a week is too short. 2 weeks is too short because, well, here's what happened. One of the years I used to go out there with my wife, and we went out to the NAMM show, and I met Conrad Korsch, who's the bass player for Rod Stewart. So then we got to talking, and then he's like, yeah, I'm out in New York. And I said, oh, that's cool. I said, we go out there. And he says, yeah, sometimes we like to catch Broadway shows. I said, well, sometimes I fill in the orchestra for my friends if they're going to be gone on tour or they can't.
Really?
So I sit in and I play bass for them in the orchestra. And I'm like, brilliant. That's really cool. We love to catch a show. And I said, could I get in touch with you when we go out? And he goes, yeah, sure. Gave me his number, his email, stuff like that. So I got a hold of him. He says, he writes me back and he goes, we're going to be at the Metropolitan Cafe with Anton Fig, speaking of Kiss.
Ah, there you go.
With Anton Fig, he and I are going to be with some other guys. We're going to do kind of a blues jazz jam night. Wow. I'm like, shit. So I get a hold of my friend who played bass. He's a bass player. He played for Commander Cody for a long time. And I said, we're going to do this. He goes, I'm going to be there. I'll be there. He says, I'm going to show up. He said, I did some recordings with Anton Fig. I'd love to see him. I'm like, fantastic. So he shows up. Other musicians show up. They're like, dude, they hand me this card. Here, we're going to be doing a gig on Saturday. I go, dude, I leave on Friday. And I'm like, they're like, oh, man, it'd be great. You'd be able to hang out. We could play, jam. I'm like, man, I just need to be here for I say a week is too short because of that. I say 2 weeks is too short because you're going to bump into somebody else as soon as you do that Saturday night thing. And they're going to go 2 weeks from now, we're doing this. And I'd be like, yeah.
It is a magical place, New York. It's a magical place. I remember I wore a Kiss t-shirt and I walked down, walking down on Broadway. And I thought I was going to get murdered. This guy ran from the other end, ran up to me, tapped me on the shoulder. I turned around and he went, Kiss!
You're like, no.
I went,
oh, sure.
Yeah.
Got it.
Kiss, man. And he started talking about Kiss in the middle. I thought it was, I don't know what I thought was going to happen. It's like, oh my God. Kiss. Yep, that's the shirt I had on when I got out of bed this morning.
That's it, mate.
I do own a mirror at home and I can see the shirt I'm wearing. And one night, me and my friend went it was just off Times Square, we went for a beer. The lady stopped in and we went out for a beer. We went for this beer and there's a place just off Times Square it's a convenience store on a corner. It used to be called the Green Emporium.
Okay.
Like a convenience store. And we went in there to grab something to eat to take back to the apartment. And we'd had a few by this point. We'd had a few.
Now
beers.
wait a minute. So yeah, it was like a convenience store. You were just going to go get a package something.
Yeah, to take back to the hotel.
Yeah.
And my friend tapped me on the shoulder and said, look at that. And in the convenience store, there was a Patrick Stewart from the the Star Trek movies.
Picard, yeah.
Picard. And I was like, oh man. And I was like, and my friend, like, I was like too drunk. Let me handle this. Let me handle this. I was, no man, it's Picard. I gotta tell him. He said, no, let me. So we kind of wobble up to him, and my friend, he's a smooth character, Gav. My friend, he says, Sir Patrick, as fellow Englishmen, can we say hello? And he was with quite a considerably younger lady, let's say, in her 20s or 30s. They look very friendly, let me say. And he says, I don't want any. Yeah, he said, I don't want any pictures, but I will shake your hand. So he shook his hand. We got chatting to him, and he's very polite. Oh, we're from Nottingham. And he says, oh, as you know, I'm from Sheffield, which is just a stone's throw away. And he talked about his show on Broadway. He's a really nice guy. And then as he left the shop, he was a bit in front of us because we had to get served. So as he left the shop, I shouted down Broadway to him, "Make it so!" I could only imagine. He must have
I can imagine him running back and pointing at you like the guy who said, "Kiss."
Yeah, I was that guy in reverse. Make it so!
You're like, I'm sorry, I learned that from the guy who was a Kiss fan. Sorry.
And then one of the first times I went to New York, my last New York story.
I'm sorry. It's gonna take me a second to get over that one. That's too much.
That is true.
Make it so.
That happened. Make it so. And one of the times, I just love New York. It's just one of the magical places. Where the first time I went, I'm a big fan of like Goodfellas and I love Scorsese movies and things.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love to hear New Yorkers swear. You motherfucker! I love all the fun. I love it. It's they can do it, and it sounds like poetry. I just love it. And we got in a lift. Me and my friend got in the lift in the hotel, and one of the guys from the hotel started swearing at me, saying, "You fucking limey fucking son of a proper full on." And I was like, "Whoa!" Then we got to the other end, and him and my mate started laughing. He paid him $10 to give me a New York mouthful, and he swore at me all the way down in the lift.
You're like, you prego Goldie.
Called me a limey motherfucker. That was one of the things. And I hugged him when we got to the bottom, and I said, "Oh man, thank you so much for that." Your mate gave me $10 fucking to do that.
I just want to look at him and go, "You made it so."
Made it so. Yeah, I love it.
Oh man, that's good shit.
So I'm So it's all good. It's all good.
Oh my god. So your next, what's the next gig for you? Where is that?
Our next gig.
Drew says that's the New York experience.
The next gig is we're at the Musician in Leicester. Okay. But we've got a little bit of a break until then because we're doing a bit of recording and we're doing a lot of writing at the minute. The way we're recording the next thing is totally different to the way we recorded the last album. The last album was recorded at Access Studios in Doncaster with Matt Ellis producing. Okay. The next thing we are doing all on our own.
Whoa.
We're recording drums. We've got this big hall. We drag the drums in, we mic it up, our guitarist Kev brings his laptop. We record it. We put Zoom recorders in each corner of the room.
Mm-hmm.
We record the kit like that as well.
Wow.
He's mixing it, and you can't believe how good it sounds. And we're doing all the guitar sounds the same way. We're taking amps in, and we're recording raw signal, and we're DIing, and we're mixing it all together.
Wow.
We're doing our vocals in this big hall as well, and we're 3 songs in, fully recorded, mastered.
Jeez. All right.
All right, already with 3 songs fully in, mastered, recorded. So it won't be till next year, but it'll definitely have a different vibe. But it's holding up well. Everybody we've played the stuff to can't believe how good it sounds. So
that's fantastic.
And we just want to do this one for us. Yeah. So we want to put some, without giving too much away, there's a theme to the album, so it lets us explore some areas we normally won't go in. You know, we can be heavier, we can be softer, we can use different things, we can have voiceovers, and there's a whole idea behind it that I don't want to blow the cookies yet. Yeah, I don't want to keep it fresh.
I think that's what we enjoyed about albums over the years. I've enjoyed about albums like Jeff Wayne's War of the Worlds. The what was it? The Journey to the Center of the Earth, and then
the Alan Parsons Project.
Yeah. Well, no. Yes. The Tales of Mystery and Imagination.
Yeah, that's great.
Beautiful.
That was the album that when I was a kid, the first job I ever had when I left school, I worked in a hi-fi shop. So and that was the album that they used to test that, a lot of the hi-fi stuff like that, and a lot of Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon and things like that. And they used that album because it's I think it's recorded in quadraphonics.
I believe that's true.
And the reason I got that job is because I'd left school, and I knew a lot about Technics. It was a Technics place that sold mostly Technics stuff, and I'd learned a lot about one system. And a guy walked in. You had to do a thing where you work 2 months, and then they decided whether they wanted you or not. So I'm in like the probation period, and he walked in, and he just walked up to this system that I knew a lot about and asked me about it, and I knew loads about it, and he bought it cash, and they were like, that was a good sale, and they employed me, and I never sold another one of those the other time. I proceeded to leave 9 months later. I'm just stood at the till thinking, how did I do that? I just impressed everybody, and I never did it again.
Boom.
After that, it was all selling styluses and needles for records, and
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, Drew, that is correct. Alan Parsons is pretty far out. That was the thing about Alan Parsons, and it has been still. I mean, it still is, because they're still recording stuff. But is that some of it was kind of far out stuff, not so far out like Tangerine Dream maybe, but pretty close. With vocals though, but then there was stuff that was so mainstream.
I'll tell you about a band from that period, because I got into a lot of music through my brothers, and I'd be flipping through their album collections. Yeah. And the band I hated from the 70s, but now I just can't get enough of. And I'm not allowed to play it in the house, so my wife threatens to leave me. It's Jethro Tull.
Oh no, she doesn't like Jethro Tull?
I can't imagine many women getting into Jethro Tull. But I went through a thing. I think it was during COVID. I wanted to listen to something that I give something another go. So during COVID, I thought it was getting near Christmas, and I thought, well, Jethro Tull, it's a lot of folk prog rock.
Yeah.
I thought it's kind of Christmassy English sounding, really. It's a very I know that sounds crazy.
Bells.
Yeah, they've got all this kind of acoustic and tubular bells vibe, haven't they? So and it's all and so I give it a go. Minstrel in the Gallery. What an album.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Wow. And it just blew me away. And so I went back and started buying all the Jethro Tull albums, which I have to wait till my wife goes out to play. She walked through the doors. What is this? And it's some bloke playing a flute. One of the titles of the song is, how can you call this song? It's called The Winds of Valhalla.
Yes.
Winds of Valhalla. You can see. Yeah. Yeah, you're not going to get bloody Jay-Z singing about the winds of Valhalla, mate. This is the real deal.
This is it.
Yeah.
Drew says Jethro Tull is great. My dad showed me a lot of them. Yeah. My favorite album by them is Songs from the Wood.
Yeah, yeah.
In fact, I wrote my son a note because he grows. They have Jethro Tulls growing in their yard.
Jethro Tulls.
Yeah, it's a flower.
Oh, is that something? I never knew that, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah, and
that fits.
So I made a reference to the band. I said, be careful. What did I say? The highborn hunting girl warns of the Jack in the Green and the Whistler. So all three songs from that record. Hunting Girl is a great song. It's lyrically and story-wise, it's hilarious.
Yeah, he is. He's a great storyteller, and
yes,
it definitely creates its own world, doesn't it? Jethro Tull. I love Jethro Tull, and it's unafraid, isn't it? It's like, I mean, how many people would form a band now and say, "I tell you what we're going to do. Right, I'm going to wear tights and play a flute, yeah, and we're going to write songs, yeah,
okay,
like I've got a folk feel, a prog feel, and I can't imagine many young guys even going there. Do you know? It's like, why would you do that?
And today, if you did that, I can't even say that because Disturbed is so much older now. But
yeah,
you'd almost think, okay, we're going to outdo Disturbed at the Grammys, and we're going to play a flute.
Yeah,
because they outdid Metallica that year.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
which was, I have to admit, that was completely stupid.
Yeah, it was stupid. It was stupid. I didn't even get that. I bet even Jethro Tull weren't happy about that.
They didn't.
Yeah,
but I'll take it.
Yeah, it's
what
like
are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? They put you in there. It's not like you're like, oh no, our album is heavy metal. Please put us in the heavy metal department. No, they didn't do that. The corporations did that, and they didn't want Metallica to win.
It's like that's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's always done badly. It's like
I'll never go. I'll never go there.
What is that? It's not a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame at all, is it?
It's a joke.
Just what is it? What is it?
If you put it this way, Stu, if you have to sit here and go, are they in yet? Then it's a shit show. Because how many years has it been around? I don't know, and I don't care. But it's been around long enough that anybody that I think of, anybody that I've got back here, okay, maybe Creed from 1978 isn't in there. I get that.
Yeah.
But Kiss just made it a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
You're sitting here going, did Rush make it in yet? And you're like, if anybody looked at me and said no, I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? How are they not in there?
I was that. It's not really of the people, is it? It's just a lot. I don't know. A lot of businessmen sat around thinking, how can we get some cool points and put ABBA in there?
How could
nobody's saying that ABBA shouldn't, blah. But it's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, is it? It's not the Pop Hall of Fame.
And
it's
I get it.
The thing with Rolling Stone magazine. Rolling Stone magazine was never really, I don't think, embraced rock music. It's always tried to be too clever for its own pants.
Yes.
Rolling Stone. It's always tried to be too clever. It's like, we can appreciate your journalistic integrity. Sometimes, do you know what? I love Circus magazine. I think Circus is great.
I've got old issues of that I'm going to get into on the show down the line.
Yeah, circus. And I know there's a thing on Facebook now with Circus Magazine, isn't there? Who was the guy who put it all together? I forgot his name. Jeff. I can't remember his name.
Remember, the one guy, I have his book, and he put together Rip Magazine because he worked for Hustler.
Yeah.
Like Lon Friend, I think put those together. And but yeah, who did Circus? I can't remember. I just saw the movie about Cream Magazine. I saw that movie.
No, I want to watch that. I want to watch that.
Yeah, I actually bought that. I have it on DVD over there.
I went through a period. If I can just move the camera. I went through a period.
Yeah, let me see.
Kind of buying old. Hold on. I'm looking under my bed. God, there's a body under here.
Circus Magazine.
That's where I put the head.
David Frick, Paul Nelson, Judy Weeder, and Kurt Loder.
Yeah. I'm trying to think where I'm putting it.
Circus Monthly Magazine, published from October 66 to May 2000.
I've got some circus. Yeah, I've got some hard rock. Is it Hard Rock Magazine?
Do you have any Hit Parader?
Yeah, Hit Parader. A lot of the old 70s and 80s magazines. Love them.
Kerrang.
Kerrang, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got the one where Kiss were on the cover. And
well, dude, there was a magazine called Grooves, which was, I think it was a derivative of Hit Parader. And man, back at the time when I was buying them, 79,
dude,
Kiss was all over.
I think my phone's shutting down. I'm running out.
All right. He might not be there anymore. If you aren't, have a good one. Everybody, I probably ought to let you guys get to it. And I'm going to just say, thank you, Stuart. Appreciate you being here. I better hang for just a second in case he makes it back. But if not, everybody have a great evening. It's Thursday. So we got one more day this week. The weekend is on its way. Fear not, it will be here. And I hope that everything else goes well for the rest of your day. Again, Stuart, thank you so much for being here and hanging out. And this was much longer than I thought it was going to be. Pay attention tonight because I think at 3 o'clock on Go Game Go, Jeff is going to be doing a video at 3 o'clock. And then I'm going to be back maybe late night tonight. And I'm going to do another Hammer Away because I was going to get into some of these CDs and I've got an unboxing to do. So I'm just trying to get these out while I've got a little bit of time before I start doing some other major things here around the house this summer. In the meantime, I'll also talk about a pickup that I got at the library recently. Picked up some CDs, picked up some DVDs, and I'll talk to you about those. And I think in the meantime, do yourself a favor. Take a little bit of time. Right now would be the perfect time if you want to hang out and you want to check out some BLITZ between now and then, and check it out on YouTube. I put links to their videos down below, and their channel is there. You can subscribe to it so that you can catch that video when it comes out. All right. So that's going to be, and then I'm going to be checking out this show. I might see if I can do a little step in when they're between sets at that show on July 27th. So I'll be keeping in touch with them about that. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. And look at that. Hey, thank you very much, Drew. I really enjoy having you here, man. Thank you always for being here and being a big part of the show. So what was this? This music is like, yes, right. Yes, it does. I love it. That, and all right, Jethro Tull, also check out David Arkenstone. Speaking of, there's very adventurous music. He also has done, I think, 2 records dealing with music inspired by Middle Earth. So if you dig that kind of stuff, check out David Arkenstone. I've talked about Nox Arcana as well. That's another great one to do. 2 Steps from Hell. If you just love instrumental music and things like that, that's Nox Arcana. And and Two Steps from Hell. Pretty much, not all of it. There is somebody's going to jump on my back on that one, but don't, please, because yes, they do have some vocals in with some of their stuff. So so check it out. But mainly it's instrumental stuff and epic stuff. So yeah. So all the best to you guys for the rest of the day and the rest of your evening. Have a great one. Check out Jeff on Go Game Go, 3:00 Central Time. So check that out. And then I think you'll be on for some gameplay a little bit later tonight. And then I think I'll be back for some gameplay too tonight. I think I might be playing some TurboGrafx. So, oh, look, hold on. Boy, am I glad I waited. See, I'm glad I hung out.
I had to run and get my charger.
Yeah.
Because my phone went dead. We were talking so long. My actual phone ran out of charge. I had to run and get my charger from downstairs, plug it back in again. So I'm literally on life support now. So.
That's a hell of that's a quick trip, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I couldn't leave without saying goodbye.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why I left myself talking, because I'm like, you might make it back.
Yeah.
Well, good. Anything else you want to say to everybody else before we take off?
Yeah, well, I just want to thank anybody who's checked Blitz out and give us a listen, and check us out online and check us out on the Blitz Crew page and the Facebook page, and more importantly, keep listening to rock and roll, supporting new music, and listening to this awesome show. And this guy here, he's doing a great thing. He's getting new bands, and he's pushing them, and he's giving us a bit of a shout out. And
yes,
I always love coming on this show. It's just cool. 2 hours has nearly passed.
I know. I'm like, wait a minute. Wow.
Yeah. And just tune in and listen, and just anybody who's keeping rock and roll alive, God bless you. And it's all about the good stuff.
That is. I just found out about a radio station that's going on out there too. That I just found out about. I'll tell you what. Hold on a second. I think I can see who it is. And Stumble in the Dark is what it's called. Stumble in the Dark Radio.
Okay.
So I've got to check it out. I don't know what it's all about, but it's not far from me, and they say it's the best radio you never heard in your life.
Wow.
So how about that? So I found their Facebook page today, so I was talking to them about getting on and talking to them before I have them on the show and see what everything's about. So
cool stuff, my friend. Cool stuff.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you again. And thanks everybody for being out there. I always thank my buddy Drew. Drew's always got great things to talk about and say. And so always appreciate that. And everybody else that's checking this out, do like and subscribe. It really helps. Do the same for Blitz. Check out their YouTube page and do a subscribe. I just did that. So make sure you get out there, like the videos, and give them a subscription. So do that for anybody that you like out there. So I will we will say in together, Stuart and I can say goodbye.
Okay.
So
goodbye. Keep rocking. And don't be a Prego Goldie.
Damn, you beat me. I was right there. Good job. I expect that from my guests.
We need t-shirts.
You got to beat the host. That's the way
it goes. Get the Prego Goldie t-shirts. That's the dream.
We've started something new. We have got a revolution happening here. I'm telling you.
But there'll be there'll be a bit of a competition. You can win a Prego Goldie t-shirt.
Instead of the upper class twit of the year, it's the Prego Goldie. That's what it's going to be.
The Prego Goldie Award. For twattism.
I'm so proud of us. And people would tell me I wasn't going to amount to anything. Come on.
Where are those people?
I'm just doing that for Facebook. That's all. I just need sympathy. That's all I need.
Give me the likes. I need a like. Where would I be without the like? My wife doesn't even like my She just puts angry face.
I get angry faces and thumbs down. That's what I get.
Oh,
Oh, God. All right, Stu, I will talk to you real soon. And
okay, man.
Hang tight, and I'll say a couple things backstage here, and then we'll see everybody soon. Take it easy, guys. Have a great weekend after tomorrow.
Same to you, man.